Okay, here's how to be able to tell if you are being hit by click fraud by a competitor in your space, and basically what you can do to it to get rid of the problem completely. For a lot of you guys, if you're running, particularly for you guys running local PPC campaigns for local businesses, but also a lot of you guys also doing like national service related stuff, if you're getting hit by click fraud, it basically comes out of nowhere. You'll all of a sudden see your ad performance go down and drop like a stone. And that's probably why you're even watching this video. You were doing fine. All of a sudden your ads are not working like they used to. Your ROI on your ads seems to went down quite a bit. You're wondering though if your competitors are even clicking on your ads or not, or maybe that's a possibility. There's some key telltale signs that you could be able to check into to know if it's a competitor clicking on your ads, or your ads, basically you made a wrong turn in terms of optimizing your ads, or Google made a change even on their end, and what your strategy was before is no longer a working strategy, or you got to make some adjustments. So, the first thing that obviously you would always want to get out of the way is finding out if you have a click fraud problem where your competitors are clicking on your ads. Because if you start fiddling with your ads and you do have a click fraud problem, then you're going to compound your issues. Because as I mentioned many times on this channel before, every change you make in your Google Ads account specifically is going to create negative volatility in your account, even if the change you make is better. But obviously if you make a change that isn't better, now you're going to have forever worse performance, plus a pretty sharp negative downtrend in your results, even further than the downtrend in results that you have already, just because you made a change. And Google's ad systems run off of an algorithm, and they do not know how to run their ads when you give them a new configuration to deal with. So you certainly want to try to look into the things that I'm telling you here basically before you go ahead and go on to the other steps of trying to fix your sales issue that you're currently maybe having with your account. So with that said, there are some very telltale signs that you have some competitors clicking on your ads as mentioned, or somebody that they are paying to do it, which that's actually basically more common than the competitor clicking on it itself. So it's very unlikely that the owner is going there and clicking on your ads and then going to another location and clicking on your ads. It is, however, pretty feasible to go ahead and pay or just ask 3, 4, 5, 10 different people that they know every day to go in and click on your ad like 2, 3 times. Because obviously they can get 20, 30 clicks a day, that are bullshit clicks on your account that can drop your ROI enough to where the ads are no longer profitable. And more importantly, that the ads don't show up all day long. They get, basically with your budget, they only show up half of the day because these people coming in early in the morning that are doing this eat up all your budget, and then the ads don't run for the rest of the day. So basically what you're paying for is fraud clicks, not real clicks at the end of the day. So ultimately, whether they or however they're doing it, because there's other ways to do click fraud as well. If there's enough money in your market, you're in the personal injury space where the guy who can get PPC working in your market, you can make an extra $5 million a year. They could pay hackers which hacked into other devices, and then they turn into slave machines, which they could go in and click on your ads. And there's other stuff they can do, which at that point, click fraud software and ways to get around the issue, it doesn't exist because it's beyond fixing at that point. If you have that, there's not much you can do. Other than try to make your ads so profitable, even considering the click fraud, you're still going to make money. But most of you guys aren't in markets where that's going to happen. And if you're in a big money market, it's still not likely to happen. There are occasions where it does happen, and in that situation, there isn't no counter move. But anyway, more of you guys, when you have a click fraud problem, it is literally just the low scale thing where somebody's clicking on your ads manually, or they have a few people doing it, or they're going to a different location and doing it. Just like this low tech way of doing it which you can easily block. So what to do about it has strictly to do with having click fraud software set up to block these assholes from clicking on your ads, or people that they know click on your ads, to drain your budget so your ad isn't showing up only half of the day. So anyway, as far as though the ways to tell so you know definitively it's happening to you, so like before you get the click fraud software, before you go ahead and panic and make other changes on your account, thinking that what you did recently with your account, that actually is what threw it off. This is actually how you could tell definitively what's going on, and if you have an issue with click fraud on your account. The first of which would be the erratic spend history, okay? In short-term bursts in the advertising spend. So have you seen, basically, if you look at a chart of your daily average spend on your Google Ads account, and by the way, this video is strictly about Google Ads, of course. Click fraud on Facebook and other ad networks, it happens so little, it's really not of an issue. Click fraud is 99% of an issue, or 99% an issue on Google Ads, also Bing Ads, if you want to throw that in there. As far as though on Google Ads, if you want to throw Bing Ads in there, you can. You go ahead and you do a 90-day chart showing your daily spend on your account. For the most part, if you aren't making a lot of big changes in your account, that daily average spend will fluctuate, but it'll fluctuate within a certain margin, plus or minus 50% per day. If somebody comes in to click fraud you, given their goal primarily is to hit you hard and quick so that you just stop doing it, turn off your ads completely so that they don't have to click fraud you forever, because nobody wants to click fraud you forever. The goal is to get you discouraged quickly so that you're just gone, and make you think that if you continue doing it, it will always be unprofitable. And if you shut off your ads before they quit click frauding you, clicking on your ads, they win, you lose. Which is a big reason why you typically want to just fight through this, or you should fight through this, absolutely. But anyway, so what you should see is, if your daily spend is going like this, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the spend goes up like this. So your normally everyday fluctuation was like within this margin here, and then all of a sudden the margin goes like in between here. And it's more than just like 1 or 2 days, but it's like a week or two. That's a pretty strong indication right off the bat that you have an issue with your competitors of some way clicking on your ads to try to get rid of you as a competitor. What I've, by the way, seen also, it's very common, is when somebody comes in to click fraud you, it's normally when you're a newer advertiser. Either right away as soon as you start advertising, or you've been around for maybe 6 months already, and you're getting some traction with your ads, and then a older company that was in there is starting to see he's starting to suffer with his ads, because your ads are a little bit better than his, and his return that he was getting is not quite as good, and he gets envious, and then he starts clicking on your ads. So it doesn't happen right away, and they don't do it to every single person, but when they start losing money, that's when they start doing it. So there's basically, two main ways that they do it. Either right away they'll do it to every single new guy that comes in to try to get rid of him quick, because right away, before you've had any success, you're saying, does it work? Does it work? Does it work? Should I quit? Does it work? Should I quit? Should I quit? Does it work? That's what the average person is doing. And if they just do this for you for a good couple weeks, a lot of people just give up right away and say, Google Ads doesn't work. Later on, 6 months into it, it's harder to get you to say it doesn't work because you've seen some success. But naturally, they normally would do it to you then, because they're not going to, the type of person that's going to do this, you basically wouldn't wait till way later down the line, because it's already ate into their profits a lot within a relatively short period of time. So then, anyway, that's the most most common couple times that I see, most often people have the competitors coming in and clicking on their ads if they actually have a problem. And it's really only a problem in about 10% of the markets that we enter. And it's different by geographic market by geographic market. You could have the same business in the same niche, no problem in one city. In another city that's near it, they have a problem. Specifically because different markets have different people as competitors. You'll have different competitors in those markets. And it's usually, obviously, one person that's going to decide to do this to you. So maybe it won't happen to you. If it does, maybe they do it to every new guy right away. Maybe they don't do it until you're starting to eat into their profits and then do it to you then. But usually it won't just come out of nowhere after you've been advertising for several years. Not to say it can't happen like that, but it's not as nearly as common. So anyway, in terms of the spend, that's basically the main way that you're going to be able to tell that it's starting to happen to you. Number 2 way you tell is you're limited by budget. So obviously on your ad campaigns, you have to set a daily budget. Whatever your daily budget is, it's, you know, your ad spend's not supposed to go above that. If your campaigns were not showing so-called limited by budget warning on your campaigns, indicating that your ad's only running part of the day, and then all of a sudden on multiple of your campaigns or on the one campaign that you have, you start showing up limited by budget, going along with the previous method that I gave you to tell if the competitors are clicking on your ads, that's the other way to tell. And it coincides with what I said, with what they're actually trying to do to you, is eat up your budget. Your ads only show up part of the day or only in the morning. So if you had not have limited by budget before on your campaigns, and then all of a sudden it is, particularly when it's also matched up with what I'm showing you here where the spend is higher, because normally, you know, your spend will go up and then it'll go up so much so consistently that eventually this limited by budget comes on where Google recommends that you should spend more money because your ads are not running all the day. Those two things combined are a very strong indication that you got competitors clicking on your ads. Then the third way to tell, tying all this together, is there's no increases in overall sales. So obviously your spend is going way up. Campaigns are saying limited by budget. You know, Google's prompting you to spend more because it seems the demand has went up in your market. But your sales have not went up in correlation with the increase in spend, which it doesn't always have to go up 1-to-1. Like if your spend doubles, your sales doesn't have to go up double right away, but your spend should double and you should have 0 increase in sales basically because it's all fraud, right? So you shouldn't have any increase in sales respectively. And this is another one where, just like I was saying before, you want to chart out your sales going back the last 90 days and does the increase in spend correlate with the increase in sales, or is there any correlation whatsoever? If your sales have been completely flat for the last 90 days and then all of a sudden 4 weeks ago your spend started going up and there's literally no change in your sales, that's another confirmation, in addition to the first 2 items here that I mentioned, that you have an issue with your click fraud versus the market's actually changed and there's all of a sudden more demand in your market for what you do, or Google's algorithm has determined that your ads are running well and they want to give you more clicks because you have a higher click-through rate and a higher conversion rate on your ads than the other people advertising in your market, which that could happen. So if they want to show you more and they are showing you more, that's because you've had a history of serving the market well. And if you have a history of serving the market well and they're giving more clicks, you should get more sales, obviously. So if there's no sales, then you know it's fraud clicks instead of Google trying to push you more. So, and this is, by the way, why you need to have offline conversion tracking running in your business and for your campaigns. Offline conversion tracking is where you're tracking the sales that are coming from your ads. So a lot of you guys are not, well, we'll just start off by saying a lot of you guys already been tracking your phone calls and your contact form fills that are coming in off of your campaigns if you're doing non-e-commerce businesses. You should be tracking that, but furthermore, you should be tracking how many of those leads that come from phone calls and form fills turn into sales. And for no other reason to identify if you have a click fraud problem, you could spot it. you can do what I just told you to do, where you're tracking your sales and see if the sales have went up with the clicks, and not just go ahead and tell Google, okay, yes, spend more when it suggests spending more when your sales haven't went up. Because if you don't have that sales data, then you can easily make the mistake and then just go ahead and make sure turn your ads on full blast so they're not being shut off at noon every day. You'll know whether or not you should open up the tap and let the ads run all day or not. Because, and you've checked out if it's click fraud, the reason why your ads are shutting off at noon every day. So you could open up the ad budget and make sure that you're spending more to get shown all day. And then ultimately you get more click fraud, not less, after that point, because now they're going to click you more to get you. They have to actually click your ad more to get you to stop having your ad show up at noon every day again. So the offline conversion tracking to track how many leads turn into sales, that gives you a history of knowing what your sales are like, so you know when your clicks go up, if that is click fraud or is that Google just giving you more traffic. Offline conversion tracking, if you don't know how to do that, I've got videos on this channel specifically about that. And you just have to use CallRail, and with CallRail, basically you capture a code when the lead is generated, and then when a sale comes in, you match up on your accounting system the person who bought with the lead in CallRail, and then you are able to then send data back to Google Ads that said that particular person with that particular code bought. And it's really not that complicated. It's a little hard to wrap your head around at first. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to my firm, and we'll either break it down for you or help you set it up. But anyway, you want that. You also, of course, want offline conversion tracking, by the way, because optimizing your ads on lead level data instead of sales level data, you're going to get a third of the long-term results as you could get with the sales level data. Going back to what I was saying before, Google's got an algorithm that determines how and where to show your ads. And if you don't have the sales level data come in, they're going to optimize for the cheapest calls, cheapest form fills. Well, the cheapest form fills and phone calls aren't going to be the most expensive, the most profitable phone calls and form fills. And because that everything is on a bidding system, and people that are, the keywords that indicate that the user wants a more expensive job, those are naturally going to be bid up higher. And so if you're just trying to go for the cheapest calls, you're going to be picking up all the smallest jobs, so to say, and all the biggest jobs are going to go to someone else. That's why you want to be able to see what the size of jobs you're getting, so to say, size of sales you're getting, so to say, from your account, so you can optimize not just for the cheapest lead, but the most profitable lead that's coming through. Anyway, so that's how you tell if you're getting clicked by your competitor by, i.e. click fraud. This usually happens in higher CPC markets where, the cost per click is over $10 is where I most commonly see it. So if you're in a market where you're over $10 a click, the likelihood that you have click fraud, if you're thinking you have click fraud right now, is much, much, much higher. This also typically happens in non-e-commerce markets. I very rarely see anybody have an issue with click fraud in e-commerce. Why? Because it's too hard to click fraud somebody in an e-commerce market. There's so many ads and so many keywords. And going back to what I said before, their goal is to discourage you more than anything. They want you to say, darn it, Google Ads doesn't work anymore, or it doesn't work at all, and then I quit. And on an e-commerce account, even if you click somebody's ads, they're probably not even going to pick up that the performances went down, because the clicks are much cheaper and there's so many more clicks. It would be a much harder endeavor to click your ads enough and have it be actually counted by Google and not just ignored, and give that person an advertising a credit for the fraud that they picked up, because they do have an anti-fraud system in there, even though it's not foolproof. And so the level of expertise and resources it takes to click fraud somebody, where the cost per click is lower and there's so many clicks coming through, is higher, in e-commerce markets. So in other words, the less clicks that you're buying per day, the more likely it is that somebody can click fraud you, given it takes less resources and sophistication to click fraud you. So that also will indicate to you how to know if you're getting click frauded by your competitor, for the most part, where it happens typically. Now, if you got the click fraud problem, to clean this type of click fraud up where you have competitors clicking on your ads, this type of click fraud is very easy to clean up. You get ClickC software, you set it up, you're pretty much done already once it's set up. You'll know if you've had click fraud if your spend, going back to what I was saying before, goes back down to the normal window of what your spend normally fluctuated at for the last 90 days before the big rise in spend. So when the click fraud happens, you have the huge raise in spend, you activate the ClickC software. Now your ad spend goes back to basically averaging where it was on a daily basis before that big ramp up or rise in ad spend. That's when you know for sure you had click fraud by your competitors, because it looked like you had click fraud, you activated a click fraud software, ClickC's, and then the spend went back down to where it always kind of was. Then of course, on top of that, your sales, again, never actually moved. On top of that, it would be a double way to know that you had a click fraud issue going on. But for the most part, if your spend went up, you activated ClickC's, your spend went right back down to where it was, you should be pretty much 99% sure at that point that you had your competitors clicking on your ads. Somebody out there was doing it. Usually it'll just be one person doing it to you. Someone in your market is doing it to you. So with that said, that's how you fix the issue. It's really simple. Of course, click fraud software is around $60 a month. But if you got someone click frauding you, you got to use it, because they're going to, for the most part, they're going to make sure your ads are unprofitable. Now, they'll eventually give up. They're not going to sit there and click your ads for the next 5 years. But at least for a few months, you could have your ads not be profitable. And you may not be able to take that as a company in terms of financially. So you really have no choice in that regard, in that situation, to use the click fraud software to get rid of the problem now, so your ads don't run unprofitably until. So that's how you stop your ads from being unprofitable, so that you don't run out of money, or you go into a financial crisis before the competitor stops actually click frauding you, or for the rest of the time that the person's click frauding you, so you don't basically die, or your company doesn't die before you got the guy that's doing it to you stops doing it. So that said, that's pretty much the whole system to figure out if you are getting click frauded, of course, and how to deal with it. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. Feel free to ask me any question about PPC you'd like. I'd be happy to try to help you out. Beyond that, if you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of information on this channel to give about other stuff that's working on our clients' accounts to guarantee the results. If you want to have the best information you can find on YouTube on how to actually make money with PPC ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, and so forth, this is the channel for you to subscribe to. I also got a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find information on making money with PPC there, that guaranteed working strategies that we use to guarantee our clients' results. I also have released a lot of information there as well. If you like the channel, you'll also like the blog. Beyond that, if you're actually looking for somebody to guarantee results on your account and you don't have time to do it yourself, our agency does exactly that. We offer our clients guaranteed results on their accounts before they pay, as long as the client has a workable business that we can help. And you would be able to find out if we can help you in that regard just by reaching out to us. Basically, if you're making, let's say, $5,000 a month right now in profit from your ads, basically what we typically will do with a client like that is we'll bring it to $10,000 a month profit on your ads before charging a fee. That way, the fees that we charge is already covered in the additional money that you're making, with the understanding that you're looking for a long-term agency to work with after that point, and we offer that initial free trial to our clients that we choose to bring on at our agency. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us. We'll let you know what we could do for you, how much we could do for you, that type of thing. But beyond that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in my next video, where we're going to share another fantastic money-making PPC strategy for you there. See you later.